Hi guys, it's your girl Justin. Welcome back to my channel. Long time no see. It's literally been like a year since I posted a video, and unfortunately that kind of seems like it's becoming a pattern. But hopefully the end of that is near. I have missed you guys so much. I have missed posting to YouTube. So I'm not even gonna give a really long intro. I just want to get straight into it. Today we're doing a Q&A. The most popular question is just very simple. How am I doing? What's going on? Where am I at in life? And I will tell you guys that I'm honestly doing so well. The best that I have ever been in my adult life, honestly. Which, if y'all, have been keeping up with me over the past years, me even saying that is like a big deal. But I'm doing so good. And it's not necessarily like happiness, like I am happy, but it's more so I feel like I'm just like at peace. So it's not necessarily that I'm not having any hard times or anything, but when the hard times come, I still have like peace about it rather than before y'all mental health was up, just in an uproar. Okay. A lot of people are asking, how have I been enjoying life since moving back home? So if y'all don't know, I'm gonna kind of catch you guys up to speed just for those who may not know this, but I am from Louisiana, born and raised, and probably now like 6 years ago, I moved from my small hometown that I've always been in to another city in Louisiana. I lived there for maybe almost 3 years, and then I moved to Texas, San Antonio, Texas, and I lived there for almost 2 years. And then I made the decision to move back to my hometown back in actually around this time last year. I think September of 2022 is when I moved back. And me moving back was a big deal because I'm gonna be honest, when I left, I was one of those people who was like, I will never ever move back to my hometown, just because I had a very poor perspective, if you would say, of it. But I can tell you guys that since I've been back, life has just been amazing for me. And again, it's not necessarily I'm just so happy, it's just I have peace now, which is just so amazing. I feel like this was kind of a situation where I had to lose it in order to appreciate it. Like, I didn't appreciate being from my small town hometown while I was here, because all I can see is like all the stuff we don't have and all the stuff we can't do. And, listening to my peers and stuff, they say, oh, da-da-da has no opportunities. Da-da-da is just a trash city. Da-da-da, people don't stay here. Like, you have to go out and move somewhere else if you want to be successful. And that's what I did. And I'm gonna just let y'all know, me moving away was definitely not the answers to any of my problems. I could honestly probably make a separate video just about that. But I will tell you that my favorite thing about being back home is just like the spontaneity of it, being able to just do stuff with people that's not planned. And I know that probably sounds really random and like, why is that so special? But I feel like you really lose that in a big city because everybody's so spread out. People are really busy. People aren't making it a priority to like see each other. Here, I love that I can just go to the store and I run into my cousin and they're like, hey, we putting this on the grill. You want to come through? Bet. And then I end up spending like the whole evening with them. I just love that. Like, I hang out with my mom so much. And when we do hang out, we spend hours together as if we didn't just do it a couple days before. And I love that. I don't know why, but yeah, that's definitely my favorite part. So this next question, honestly, is probably going to be the question that explains everything else I'm going to talk about just moving forward and everything I've already discussed. But someone asked me to please talk about my journey coming to Christ. So for those who don't know, I don't know why I'm like a little nervous saying this, but I got saved. I got saved towards the beginning of this year. And honestly, that alone has just been so transformative in my life. I definitely at some point want to make a video just about my testimony, because when I tell y'all I got a story, I got a story. Like, I got details on how this happened, how I got here. But to give you guys just like a quick rundown, I grew up in the church and I even went to like a Christian school at one point. So it's not like God and Jesus were things that like I never heard about. I was surrounded by this all the time. And honestly, if you would have asked me for the first 27 years of my life, am I a Christian? I would have told you yes. And I would have been very offended if somebody told me otherwise. But I quickly learned this year that I wasn't. Because how are you going to believe in something and you don't even know what you believe in? Yeah, all I can say is that God has transformed and just changed every single aspect of my life. Like stuff you wouldn't even imagine. He has completely come in and taught me things, untaught me things, delivered me from things, healed me of things. And it's just crazy because I literally remember around this time last year I was in such a dark and down place that I really thought my best or my only option was to take my own life because it just seemed like this life was just no longer worth living. And I was just like, I had no idea why I was here. And it almost makes me cry just thinking about it now because I'm like, look at how much I would have like missed out on. Not me crying already, and it's only the third question. But yeah, that's been the biggest change of my year and probably the rest of my life. I've decided that I'm gonna follow Jesus Christ until the ends of the earth. So yeah, and I also want to say thank you guys for those of y'all who've been praying for me over the years. I have seen little comments here and there, and I'm just so appreciative of them. Okay, somebody asked, what made me start taking on more challenges? So they're referring, if you guys haven't been following me on Instagram, I have been doing these little fitness walking challenges lately, and they've actually been really fun. So I did one where it was called the Jesus Trail, and it was walking 39 miles within a month, and it was like a virtual race. I was walking from Nazareth to Capernaum, but I was walking here locally in Louisiana. And I finished that. I actually have my medal over here. And then a few weeks later, I started another challenge, which was called the 40-40 Challenge, which was basically walking 1 mile a day for 40 days. And over the course of the 40 days, we were reading out of the Gospel of Mark. And I just finished that a couple of days ago. So all in all, I have walked about 80 miles within the last couple of months. And honestly, what got me started is I was chilling one night and I saw an Instagram ad for it. And I didn't even know like virtual races and challenges and stuff like that were a thing. I just saw the name Jesus. I saw the Jesus Trail and it really just like sparked something. And a couple days later, I started it and I surprised myself by completing it. Because I'm gonna be honest, I didn't think that I was actually gonna do it for real. But yeah, that's what got me started on them. And now, like I said, I just finished one. I'm already trying to like jump into another one because I've learned that I really work well with like challenge kind of fitness, not necessarily going to the gym because I want to go, but going because I signed up for this challenge and I know like I can't get too far behind. I don't know, somehow mentally that does it for me. Somebody asked, what is one of your favorite things about God? Mine is how he endlessly pursues us. That is a beautiful quality that he has and one that I'm very, very thankful for. If I had to say just one of them, because there's so many, I would probably say the fact that he is always with us. I know that's something that we hear, and it's just something that's kind of thrown out there. Like, God is everywhere. He's always with you, and yada, yada, whatever. But one of the main ways that the enemy tried to attack my mind and what led me to all that depression and anxiety and suicidal thoughts and stuff like that was the fact that I was alone and isolated and didn't have friends. I had family, but I didn't feel like I had family. I didn't feel like I had anybody that I could talk to. I felt like nobody even knew that I was struggling to the extent that it was. And so the fact that now it's not even something that I've just heard God is with me. Like, I know I've experienced that God is with me everywhere I go. And just knowing that he's there and he's for me and he knows everything. I don't know, it just hits different because I feel like, yeah, I'm alone, but I'm not alone. Someone asked, would I ever consider doing YouTube again full time? Honestly, I don't know. I'm the kind of person, never say never because you really never know what is in store. But I will say I genuinely enjoy going to work outside of the house, having a routine that has nothing to do with social media, nothing to do with me. Like, I like having coworkers that don't care that I do this, Because it's kind of like, I don't know, it's weird. It's like Hannah Montana living a double life. It's like I got my regular life and then I do social media. And sometimes that gets me in trouble because I really do compartmentalize it like that. And I forget, like, people I know in real life can actually, like, see what I put online. And it shocks me every single time. But anyway, I don't know. It's not something I would count myself out of, but I will say that I do enjoy just having like a regular job just like everybody else. I had several questions about my intuitive eating journey. How is it going? Am I still doing it? Elaborate. So, I will say it's not really going. And I don't want to say I stopped it, more so I completed it. Honestly, I feel like my intuitive eating journey, it did its job. For those who know, I was in therapy for maybe almost 2 years with that, trying to work just on my relationship with food and getting myself to where I can actually be intuitively eating. But one thing about intuitively eating is that I feel like in the beginning, I kind of had to really focus on food to stop focusing on food. And I found myself asking my therapist, like, okay, you're saying the point is to not focus on it, but I feel like I'm having to focus on it to not focus on, like it's almost like if you are trying not to think about something, the more you try not to think about it, you're going to continuously think about it. So after a while, I feel like that kind of leveled out. And honestly, at this point, that's really not a struggle that I have or really an active thought in my mind about trying to intuitively eat or trying to fix my relationship with food, which is a good thing because that was actually the entire point of the therapy and the intuitive eating journey and all of that. So yeah, it's not really an active thing in my life, but for good reasons. Someone asked, will I be turning my comments back on permanently? At this point, honestly, I don't really see a need to keep them off. So yes, I know at least for now I'm going to turn them back on. It's interesting, when I was trying to pick which questions I was going to answer, I was kind of reflecting on this because honestly, it's been a while since I posted anything. And I kind of forgot that my comments had been off for a while. But what's interesting is kind of going back to what I was saying before about how God has just changed like my outlook on everything. I was talking to my aunt the other day and I'd actually talked to her back when all that bullying and stuff was going on, which is the reason that I turned the comments off in the first place. And she was very encouraging, like, girl, don't let them see you sweat, like keep posting. A lot of people were, but I was talking to her just recently and I was telling her, I look back then when I used to let those negative comments affect me so much, and I'm able to really see it for what it is. And what it was is that I did not know who I was. I didn't really have any strong sense of who is Justin and my identity or just anything like that. And unfortunately, when you don't know who you are, you leave it up for others to decide that for you. And there's this quote, it says something like, if you live for the world's approval, you'll die by their rejection. And that's literally what I experienced, especially here on YouTube, because I went through a season where I was losing weight and just being successful and gaining a lot of followers, and even my revenue was going up, and it just felt like I was on cloud nine. And of course, who wouldn't enjoy that? Because that feels very validating. But when those same people, when those same comments turned on me and just were spewing complete hatred and negativity because I decided to switch up my content, that really just crushed me. And I'm able to recognize it now. It crushed me because I put so much weight into what they were saying in general. So it could have been negative or positive, but I was just going with whatever the people were saying about me. Even if I tried not to, I can see it now that that's why it affected me so much. And now I feel like the difference is that I know who I am and I have a strong identity and a strong foundation. I find my identity in Christ. So honestly, if anyone were to tell me I'm anything other than a child of God, respectfully, you're a liar. You're a liar. I mean, you can have your own opinion, but I just don't have to come into agreement with that. Yeah, with that being said, that's another aspect that he's really just helped me to just be stronger in who I am and realizing who I am. But also because I now know that, I'm able to clearly be able to see what I'm not. If you know this is truth, everything in here is truth. When someone tries to tell you something over here, because you know this is true, you know that this is a lie. Hopefully that makes sense. How have you been managing your anxiety and depression? All right, this is an interesting question. Not really an interesting question, but an interesting answer, because I already know some of y'all ain't gonna believe me, and that's okay. I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna be honest. God delivered me from that. I no longer struggle with depression. I no longer struggle with anxiety. I no longer struggle with suicidal thoughts. God took all of that away, and he took it away like that, actually. I'll probably get more into that when I do make an in-depth video talking about my testimony, but I will say that whenever I was still living in Texas, I was packing up my apartment in preparations to come here. It was like maybe a couple days before I was about to move, and every single time I move, what I always do is I'll take my suitcase and I'll pack like a bag for like maybe, I don't know, 3 days worth of clothes and everything that I know I will need right then and there. So all of my toiletries, my toothbrush, my pajamas, my undergarments, medications, all of that stuff. And what was interesting is I was in the middle of packing that bag as well as packing my entire apartment. And I came to where I was, I had my 2 medications in my hand that the psychiatrist in Texas prescribed for me. One was for depression, another one was for anxiety. And I didn't know it at the time, but I just felt this really strong feeling. And it was like I heard these words, but I didn't hear them audibly, that I don't need this anymore. What I didn't know was that was the Holy Spirit talking to me. So I didn't pack them, and I never took them again. And honestly, from then on, that just isn't something that I've suffered with again. And now, I'm coming up on, it's almost been a year since that's happened. So I'm gonna be honest, in those first initial months, I was constantly, I think I talked about this in my last video, but I felt like I was constantly in like a bracing myself position. Not physically, but it was like I was waiting for bad things to happen. I was waiting for my mental health to plummet again. I just kept waiting for like reality to strike and for all of this happiness and peace and joy that I feel to eventually go away. And I'm here almost a year later, and I'm here to tell you it never went away. So yeah, God took that away, and I'm very thankful for that. All right, I put some quick round questions so I can get through them quickly. 1, are you still in therapy? No, I graduated from it. 2, do you have a boyfriend? No, your girl is single, but I ain't mad about it. I'm chilling. 3, where do I get my workout gear from? Surprisingly, I got this question a lot. And I think it's because on Instagram, I've been posting, what I'm wearing for the last 2 months. Pretty much all of my sports bras come from Yvette Sports. Pretty much all of my leggings that I wear are from Buff Bunny Collection. And it's anything with the New Braid fabric. I love their New Braid fabric because it feels like butter, like skin, like I ain't wearing nothing. And honestly, all of the tanks that I wear, Walmart, $6 make you holla. You ain't got to spend all that money. Go to Walmart, boo. What's the best part about my new house? I would probably say all the windows. The fact that I'm in a house and not an apartment, I have windows on every side of the house. So I don't know. I just love getting a lot of light in. I'm one of those people that as soon as I wake up, blinds open, curtains pulled back. I love having light come into my house. And question 5, would I ever consider doing meetups? Yes. I don't know why I did that because I have no plans. But yes, I would consider doing that. And last question, and this is going to conclude this Q&A. What have I learned about myself over this past year? I've learned a good bit about myself just with how I operate, how I do things, my patterns, my quirks, things of that nature, which is cool. But I will say, I think the biggest difference in this year versus any other year that I've been on this earth is that I put less focus on me and more focus elsewhere. So I feel like I honestly learned less about myself and more about God. And shifting that attention from me to Him really has just been super eye-opening for me. And it not only taught me about Him, but it taught me about me because of who I am with Him. Kind of going back to that question when someone was asking about the comments and I was talking about how I've now found my identity in Christ, I feel like the opinions and the thoughts of other people just don't hold as much weight anymore. I used to give so much weight to what everybody else had to say about me, and honestly even what I had to say about myself. But now I don't. Any problem that I have, I bring it to God. Any issue that I'm dealing with, I go seeking in the Word of God. So I've given that weight to who I am and who, I don't know, the entire way. It's so hard to explain, and I know for some people this is gonna sound like I've completely been brainwashed. And to that, I say, honestly, you're right, in the best way. But hopefully others of y'all get it. But yeah, I feel like, not to get super deep, but I think one of the ways that the enemy subtly attacks people, and not individually, but just people as a whole, is that he puts a lot of focus and a lot of emphasis on self when it's really not about us at all. It's all about him. So I think with that being said, that's a pretty good conclusion to this video. Hopefully that answers some of y'all questions as to what I've been up to, what has changed, clearly a lot. And I just have so much more to share, and I really can't wait to go deeper and give y'all my testimony and just different things that I've learned over this past year. But yeah, with that being said, if you like this video, please be sure to like. I have not done this in a long time. And also, let me know down below, how are y'all doing? I genuinely want to know. Like, I feel like I know y'all. I mean, I kind of do. A lot of y'all, I recognize your username with your profile picture. So please update me and let me know how y'all are doing. But with that being said, please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Join me on this journey, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye, guys.